Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is now just 137 days away from its official release by writer and director J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio, as well as creator George Lucas. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, I think it's pretty safe to say that by far the two fan-favorite characters of the prequel trilogy are, of course, no other than Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi, and a lot of fans are very eager to see exactly what J.J. Abrams is going to really do to utilize all of the different connections to the prequels and the original trilogy and how it's going to be used in Episode 9. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film, and when it all comes down to one of the concept art descriptions, this is where things begin to get very exciting for Episode 9. Now, specifically, a description of one of the sequences based in the second act of the film, where it's described that Rey is entering a place called the Crystal Cave, where she is said to begin more of her Jedi training, where one of the sequences is said to involve a sequence where she begins to hear the whispering voices of the Force ghosts of Anakin and Obi-Wan. It's said that these voices of Anakin and Obi-Wan Kenobi guide Rey to a location within the Crystal Cave where it's said to be the very spot that the Whills created many years ago. That is said to be the strongest Force nexus there is, where Rey is able to tap into moments of her past through the help of Kenobi and Anakin's whispers of a specific code of the Whills and a passage of the Whills that are delivered to Rey. It's described that the whispers of Anakin and Obi-Wan sound different than how they did in Revenge of the Sith and have a older tone to them, as if they are wiser and older by voice. The scenery is said to be almost similar to the Fortress of Solitude in the Superman films. However, everything glows in a blue hue and serves as an entrance to a large secret world of a city underneath the unknown world. Now, let's go over a couple of parts about this. Now, what's really exciting about, of course, the Crystal Cave that we have been hearing about for a number of months now is that it serves as the doorway to the Lost City, right? So, essentially, she enters this through the surface of the planet, and through the Crystal Cave, she goes through a series of catacombs that lead to the Lost City, which is underneath the surface of this unknown world over in the Outer Rim. Now, what's really great about Episode 9 is that you can see the prequel trilogy and original trilogy connections here by inserting Obi-Wan and Anakin's wisdom in a different way to guide Rey by use of a passage and code of the Whills. Now, the Whills are godlike beings that were created by George Lucas, and with that being said, the fact that they are staying true to George and his vision and really trying to implement that story into Episode 9 is very respectful, not just to George, but also what Star Wars really is. If you guys really think about it, Star Wars really started with the Whills. This was created back in the 1970s. And so with that being said, this is nothing really new, it's just now being added into the current canon. Now, the thing about this is that we do know that Episode 9 is going to really feature Rey's training and her path in this film, and along the way she's going to hold a lot of connections to other characters. Now, in this scenario, while she's in the Crystal Cave, it's said that she hears the whispers of both Anakin and Obi-Wan, and that the voices are planned to sound older, as if they are wiser and of older age, in, of course, The Rise of Skywalker. Now, we do know that there are going to be older versions of Anakin and Obi-Wan from what J.J. Abrams and George Lucas are planning to do, and that's going to be quite a controversial piece, I believe, by seeing an older version of Anakin and Obi-Wan. We'll have to wait and see. But on top of all of this, alright, we do know that Episode 9 is going to be a film full of revelations. Even Jonas Swatama, the man who played Chewbacca, said, this film has, pretty much is a whole entire movie of I did not see this coming moment. That's a big thing for Eunice to actually say for, of course, Episode 9. Now, the other thing that I do want to go over is the scenery. The scenery is said to be somewhat similar to that of the Superman films for the Fortress of Solitude. In case you guys have no idea what I'm talking about, that's the crystal environment. I believe it's based over in Antarctica, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong. But it's said to look exactly like that, except with a blue hue. So, very interesting, and it really makes one wonder, are these kyber crystals, or are these just normal crystals that are going to be seen inside of this cave? That's a big question open on the table for discussion. So, with that being said, we do know that Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin, they really are central characters of the Skywalker saga. They are just as important as Luke, Darth Vader, and even Emperor Palpatine, without a doubt. And they're very much key characters, not just in the prequels, but also in, of course, the original trilogy. So, the thing that I like about this, though, is that we're going to learn more about Jedi, Sith, and Force lore in this story that's really going to propel the movie forward through the use of Rey and Kylo and their paths in this movie. Now, both Rey and Kylo are going to have pretty much, inversion adventures. Their adventures are going to be an inversion of one another. And what I mean by that is they're going to be similar, except one's light side oriented and one's dark side oriented. Kylo's going to go to the Dark Spire, Rey's going to go to the Lost City to discover other pieces of lore, as does Kylo Ren. So you can really see the similarities here. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.